And I can tell you from experience that most shops are going to charge you out the wazoo for this 5-minute repair. Hey y'all, thanks for tuning back into Chickanic. I hope everybody's having a great week. I am having a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious week. Why? Because tomorrow I are hitting 80,000 subscribers. I cannot believe it. I am so ecstatic. I never in a million years thought that would happen. And I cannot just say thanks enough to each and every single one of you for being part of this with me. Thank you. Speaking of awesome subscribers, I have to give a huge thanks to some of my peeps that went over to my Amazon wish list and got me some stuff. Thank you so much. First off, Matthew got me this engine lift plate. I don't know if any of y'all know, but I do have a Corvette. I've got a Cougar. I've got a Camaro. We are going to be working on all these, and this lift plate is going to come in super handy. So thank you so much. Mikhail, thank you for the super cool shades, 2 pairs. I am going to sport these all summer. They're polarized. Thank you very much. And TD, thank you so much. You got me the EMF detector. I am super excited. I wanted this really bad. So thank you very much. And man, I'm ecstatic about this. This is the first time I've had my own nice tool set. The DeWalt 142-piece set. Yes. Thank you so much. I'm sort of ashamed in the video I made of, what's inside my drawers, my little corner of miscellaneous sockets that I've rounded up that are old and stripped out. This is going to come in so handy. You have no idea. I love it. Thank you. Also, whoever was the extremely generous person that went over to my Amazon wish list and got me this Jegs toolbox, thank you so much. Unfortunately, Jegs sent it straight from them. It didn't come through Amazon, so usually I get little pieces of paper telling me who bought it so I can thank them in my next video. It didn't send anything with any information, so I have no idea who got this for me, and I would really love to thank you. So if you're watching and you bought this, thank you so much. It's amazing, but I need to know who you are. So let's get to another repair to save you time, money, and frustration in the future. I brought home a customer's Stihl FS 90 trimmer. Now this is sort of common with homeowners that are, definitely have heavy duty stuff, but it is extremely common with my commercial landscapers. If they don't have one right now, they have had one in the past, but they loved these trimmers. Now there's only 3 things that ever really go wrong with this trimmer. One is the clutch. If your trimmer head is not spinning or it's spinning constantly, the clutch is blown out. I made a video on how to remove and replace your clutch. You can find that right there. One of the only other things that I see is carburation, and that usually only happens when it's sat for a period of time. It is actually a really good made carburetor. I don't see any fuel line problems with these, no fuel filter. Lots of people come in with water in these. I don't know about that. Now, the third thing that I do see happen to these is the valves, and it is extremely common. Probably 50% of the units that come in have a valve issue. This customer's unit, it was running and stopped running. Now, getting backstory is really important when I'm working on something. It makes me be able to diagnose a little faster. If it would have sat for a period of time, been sitting, had bad fuel in it, something like that, I would have automatically gone towards the carburetor instead of the valves. But since he said he was running it and it stopped working, I always go ahead and just check the valves, because seriously, it takes 5 minutes. And I can tell you, if you go to 90% of the repair shops, they are going to charge you out the wazoo for this 5-minute job. It also could still be running. If your trimmer is running poorly, has no power, is hard to pull, or way too loose to pull, those are also signs that you need your valves adjusted. I almost forgot, there is one more thing on these, spark plugs. Now, I made a video a little while back saying the 5 most common things I sell, parts that I sell at my shop that you probably don't need to buy. I said there was one unit or certain units that take this plug, the CMR 6H, CMR 5H, whatever. It's this small dinky little plug. and these get fouled out really easy. I think when they made these, it was a government thing for them to try to keep in as much emissions as possible. So you will find that you will foul plugs out on these quite often. Also, they sold like a decarbonizing liquid. It was Stihl brand that you would actually pour into the unit and it would work its magic and, you know, break up all that carbon. You'd pour it out. So they obviously have a little bit of carbon buildup issues with these. All right, so let me show you what it's doing. Although it's not even starting, when I go to pull the pull rope, you should feel like a steady, light resistance the whole time, but it should be a smooth feeling. There should be no jerkiness to it while you're pulling it. And this does have a bunch of resistance when I get probably 3/4 of my pull through. So let me show you. I go to pull it. Right there is, when I get to about 3/4 up, it just jerks like it's got way too much resistance, so. Doesn't sound good. All right, for this repair, you're gonna need 3 tools. You're going to need a 10,000ths gauge, but this one is special. I don't know, can you see that? It's got a little tiny tip on it because where you gotta get in there is sort of a really small space. So I'm gonna put a link in the description box below where you can get one of these. It's super cool to have one anyways, and also it comes with a brand new valve cover gasket. Next, you're going to want a T27 to take out the 3 bolts taking the cover housing out, and then also the bolt that's holding the valve cover on. And then you're going to want your trusty old 8mm, and everybody always asks what I'm using. I buy WERA or WEHA tools. This is my straight 8. I love it. And I will leave a link in the description box below if you'd like to get your own. Now, I don't think that you need to watch me taking these screws out, so I'm just going to show you. You have one here, one on the other side. You're going to want to unplug your plug boot, and then you have one on the back here, and we're going to take this whole cover off by removing those 3 screws. All right, one cover, get your boot down in there, try not to rip off your plug boot, and we are to our valve cover. It has 1 screw right down the center of it, and we're just going to remove that screw. Now, it might be a little tough because they do use a ton of thread lock on it. So, oh, I almost forgot. We do need to remove the plug. All right, y'all, this is where you're gonna wanna get your reading glasses out and get a light. Now, people have asked where I got this bad boy from. The dollar store for $1. It is awesome. Moves anywhere you need. Go get you one. And I'm gonna bring you in a little closer because we gotta look at this flywheel. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find the top dead center indicating arrow on your flywheel. And you can see this arrow right here. So turn your flywheel with your pull rope until it comes back up and lines up with the bolt or screw that's holding on your ignition module. Once lined up, you can see that the piston is at the top of the cylinder and you're at top dead center. Now the problem is there is 2 top dead centers and you have to figure out which one you're at because only one setting is correct to set your valves at. So this is how you're going to find the correct position to adjust your valves. I'm going to pull the pull rope, and as I do, you can see this rocker arm is going to push down, and that is the intake stroke. After the intake stroke, you're going to bring that arrow back up to your coil, and that is the correct top dead center. The next stroke is the exhaust, and that one is not the correct top dead center. So I'm back at top dead center right now. You can see that my arrow is lined up with my bolt, but that is the wrong position. Another way to double check that we're in the wrong position or the right position, when you are in the wrong position, if you move your flywheel back and forth and you see that one of your rocker arms is moving like that, you know you're in the wrong position. So I've done another 1 full rotation after the intake stroke, brought my arrow back up, and when I move my flywheel back and forth, neither rocker arm moves. We know we're in the very correct position. All right, so we're gonna take our 10,000ths feeler gauge and our 8mm nut driver, and that's how we're gonna adjust the nuts that hold down your lifters. And we're going to stick the feeler gauge underneath right here, and you can tell this one is super loose. This one right here is actually not too bad. I could probably come off it just a smidge. And yeah, now you want to feel some resistance in there. That's probably good on that one. This one's super loose, so we're going to turn in. And you're just going to have to get a feel for it with your feeler gauge. You don't want it to not be able to get the feeler gauge in there, and you don't want it to have no resistance at all. You want it to sort of grab the end of your feeler gauge. So come off just a bit. There we go. That feels really good. That's it. That's how easy it is. So I'm going to put the covers back on, put the spark plug back in, and we're going to see how she starts. We're priming it, choking it, and let's go to pull it. You want to know something funny though? Although the engine runs great now, starts perfect, the head doesn't quit spinning. These clutches are terrible. They constantly go out. So I'm going to ask the customer if they want me to replace their clutch, but who knows, they might not mind it spinning constantly. So thanks again for tuning into Chickanic. I hope this video saves you time, money, and frustration in the future. If you haven't found us on Facebook yet, find us at facebook.com/Chickanic. Find us at Chickanic.com, where you can get your own Chickanic t-shirts, hoodies, and long sleeve shirts, or find us on Instagram at The Real Chickanic, where I post things you will not see on other social media. Thanks, and have a great day.